Hey ladies, hi. All right, so we are going to do a little training on protein powder, what to know. There is so much information out there, and I want to help you guys out and also teach you things that I learned um, where I was just like so surprised when I learned these things. And I wish somebody told me this when I first started because there was a lot of different things that I bought back in the day. I used to buy so many supplements, and now I know they weren't that good. So I'm going to help you guys out. I'm tagging you. If you're watching the replay, say hello or not say hello. If you're watching the replay, write hashtag replay in the comments. If you're here live, hello, how are you doing? All right, give me a second. I'm just gonna get all my tabs together here. And we're gonna talk about protein powder and a couple other things too that I feel like worked and tied into this. But happy Friday. All right, ladies, let's dig in. As you're here, say hello. I think there's a handful of you guys. Maybe I'm not able to see the comments right now. I don't know, but I'm going to just jump in and teach you guys all the things. So, you guys, supplements in general. There's so many supplements out there, and protein powder falls under the category of supplements. And supplements are not regulated by the FDA, which when I first heard that, I was like, oh, shoot. Like, what does that mean exactly? So, the FDA doesn't go into these products, doesn't make sure that the product is what it says it is. So, these supplements in general, everywhere, like all of them, they can essentially put anything on the label and it's not always accurate. Which, when I learned that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is really scary. So, I'm spending this money on these items. Am I actually getting what it's saying? Am I getting other things? Because there's brands that will put like filler things in there, just like not good things. So, not all protein powders are processed in the same way, and they're not all made in the same quality as well. And it's really common practice these days nowadays that the companies are processing the protein powder under super duper high heat. So they have the protein powder or whatever, like they have the product, and to process it, they crank the heat up. That's just like how they process it. And they also use many harsh chemicals as well. So when you have these two things, what it can do is it can actually disrupt the protein structure itself. So what can happen for the companies, a lot of them that are processing their protein powders in this way, they might have their protein powder bottle and it might say 25 grams of protein. You might not be getting what it's saying. So it's saying it's X amount. You might not be getting that because of how they're processing everything and what they're doing. And again, it's not regulated by the FDA. What can also happen when these two things are together is it can impact how your body digests it. So your body might not be able to digest it as well. So if you're a woman, I hear this all the time, I hear it constantly. So maybe you are able to process dairy. So maybe you can have dairy, like Greek yogurt or cheese here and there, and it doesn't cause your body chaos. Like you can handle these things. And if you have a protein and it's making your stomach a little bit uneasy, it might be because of how that protein is processed. So it might be processed in a really harsh way that's impacting your body and how you're digesting it. So typically, if you're able to have like cheese or Greek yogurt, like whatever, like anything dairy related, and you're not able to have a protein powder, or if you feel kind of like bloated, just like not as good, and you're like, oh, I don't feel good with this, it might be because of the things I mentioned. Okay. So it can cause digestive problems. I used to experience this all the time where I would have a protein shake or a certain protein powder and I felt kind of bloated afterwards. I was like, oh, I've felt better before. Maybe I like felt a little bloated. I just felt like something was a little bit off. And I found out later it's because of how the protein powders that I was having, it's how it was processed. It just wasn't a good quality protein powder. So you want to be really paying attention to your body and also how you're feeling, because that shouldn't be happening. I've tried so many protein powders in my life, and I felt like maybe that was just like kind of normal. I was like, oh, maybe I just get bloated off of certain ones, but it's not normal. And I'm personally very specific with what I buy just because I want to feel the best, and I also want to put my money into products that are like backed, that have a stamp of approval, because these things are not regulated. Like I was saying at the very beginning, I have spent so much money on all different kinds of supplements, whereas I don't know if the product really wasn't what it was saying it was. It's on the label, but I don't know what's really in there. So the thing that you can do as well is certain protein powders are third party tested, which means they have their protein powder and they give it to a company, and the company will test it in a lab, and they'll go through it and they're like, okay, yes, this is actually made in this way, so that they will get like a stamp of I can't talk a stamp of approval. So that is your way to know, like, okay, this brand is really legit. They process their, well, you need to kind of look into how they process, but if it's third party tested, it is what it says it is. Basically, like, it does have what is on the label. You're actually getting what it says. There's no fillers, there's no, bad stuff like that. So you can get proteins that are third party tested. The one I use is third party tested by 2 sources. So not only just one, but 2. So that's why I am so diehard for the one that I personally use. So ladies, overall, the reason why protein in general is so important throughout weight loss is because it's really, really common as a woman loses weight. If they're not doing things right, they're going to lose the muscle mass that they have. And if you're losing muscle mass, then the less calories you're also going to burn as well, because muscle does burn a lot of calories. It takes a lot of energy to maintain that muscle. So you really just don't want to lose it. You want to maintain that muscle mass, and having enough protein, hitting your protein goals is also going to help you. So that will also prevent a skinny fat look. It's going to help you feel more firm. It's going to even get you lean muscle mass too, if you're having enough protein paired with your strength training exercises. So you got to be checking all the boxes, right? You got to be doing your workouts. You got to be having your protein, hitting those protein goals. But in turn, it's going to make your body more firm. And a lot of you guys tell me like, oh, I want to get rid of the jiggle right here, and like the arm jiggle and things like that. So if you're checking the boxes, it's going to help you to get more firm. So let's talk about a couple different things. So your body does prefer protein from whole foods. That is its preference. So you want to try to get most of your protein from whole foods. Number 2 on the list is going to be protein powder. So that's another option of where you can get your protein. But again, it's so important that you make sure that your protein is what it says it is, because again, it's so important to be having enough protein for your specific goals. And a lot of people will talk about EAAs and BCAAs, so branched chain amino acids. Amino acids is part of here, let me back up a little bit. Protein is also important because when you're working out, you're essentially ripping little muscle fibers in your muscles, and when you rest, it grows back bigger and stronger. Not always bigger, but it comes back and it grows stronger. Comes back and it grows back together again. What helps your body do this is going to be the protein. So that's why it's so important. So the whole foods are going to be number 1. Number 2 is going to be the protein powder. EAAs, which is essential amino acids, that comes in third of what your body wants. So it wants the whole foods. It'll take the protein powder. If you don't have those 2, EAAs can work, and then BCAAs. So, essential amino acids and branched chain amino acids. That's a little, if you don't know what I'm talking about, people will put, it's like a little powder, and you can put it in your drink and you could shake it. There's all different kinds of flavors. There's like lemon and berry, like all different kinds. You don't exactly need this, but I want to teach you guys the rank of like what your body wants. So number one is going to be the whole foods. Protein powder is basically, protein powder can fill in the gaps. You can have a serving of protein powder if you want a treat, or if you are super busy and you just don't have access to protein, you're like, oh, I need something, I'm gonna have protein powder. Like if you're super busy driving the kids around, or you're busy at work and you barely have time to eat, just like have a, you can even put protein powder in your coffee, you guys. I can make a video for you guys showing you how to do that, but I love doing that personally. So protein powder, then EAAs, which you can drink throughout the day if you want. That can also help you too to increase your water as well, because what it does is if you're sick of water, a lot of you guys tell me this, you're like, oh my God, I'm sick of drinking water. So it'll be flavored water. It'll flavor your water, and it does go towards your water goals because it's hydrating you as well, okay? All right, ladies. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on as far as like protein powders, give you insight to it. Because I want you to have the knowledge, right? Because there's a lot of question marks out there. And when I first learned all of this, I was just so surprised. I was like, oh, shoot, okay. So I need to really look into stuff like this. So that's why at this point, I've tried so many things that disrupts my stomach, and also I feel like doesn't personally taste good, because when you have a protein shake, I don't know about you, but I don't want my protein shake to taste like a protein shake. I want it to taste good, like chocolate milk or something like that. And there's a lot of protein powders out there that's kind of like chalky, and it doesn't really taste good and tastes like protein shake. You're like, oh, can't wait till this is over. I want my protein shake to taste like a treat and like fun. But yeah. All right. What I'll do is I will link the protein powder that I use that's backed by a couple sources, just so you guys can look at it if you want to. I'll put it in the comments for you guys. And then if you guys have any other questions, let me know. But I hope you guys have the best day. I hope this helps and gives you insight into protein powder. And all of the things I mentioned. All right, ladies, I'll talk to you later. Bye. See ya.